Welcome back everyone, this is not GTA Failure but is Resident Detective instead. And in this video I'm gonna show you how I got the brown streak to the top of Mount Chiliad. First things first, I want to apologize for some background noise. This ended up taking me hours to do, just hours and hours of trying to get this train to the top of Mount Chiliad, which means I was very bored. I was listening to some stuff in the background and it did bleed through to the video, and I would be sorry about that. But you didn't push a train up a hill for 5 hours, so sorry, not sorry. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This first attempt is a strategy I tried that almost worked. It was very close to working. I got in the train. I speed up a lot of the footage in this video, by the way, by a lot. Sometimes double, sometimes quadruple, sometimes octuple, sometimes 16-fold. I forgot what the word for that is, but I'm not looking it up again. But in this method, I go I steal the train. I put on the bubble cars cheat code. Then when I derail the train, I get out. I put in the Odoo cheat code for the Hunter helicopter. That cut there was because I hadn't flown a helicopter in this game for a long time and I had to relearn the controls, Might have accidentally shot a couple civilians, but it's all okay, we do this for science. You should already be familiar with this concept if you've been watching GTA Failure. But yes, originally I was carefully trying to push it around, not let it get too far away from me, not get too wacky, just being slow and steady, trying to win the race. But as you can see, I eventually kind of just started just smacking it towards the mountain as I realized it's not anything too bad at all. Mark the top of Mount Chiliad on my map just to make sure I don't accidentally push it to the wrong way for a considerable amount of time. I think this took me like 15 minutes total, like from spawning the helicopter to getting the train here. But look, I turned the G code off and the train didn't stop floating. I didn't know that you can't deactivate the bubble cars cheat code. I was absolutely destroyed. This is tragic. I didn't know what to do. I'm just looking at this train here. It's floating away. All of my ideas, all of my hard work, all of this blood, sweat and tears was for nothing. And I originally thought that this would be the end. I thought that this was my magnum opus, that this would work, and I was going to become rich and famous. But in this moment, I think I had mostly given up. And this, you can probably see that from how I choose to express my frustrations with this method not working in game. So even though I have a parachute, CJ's not going to be having a good landing. But I think a few days, if not at least a week or two later, I came up with a new plan. Steal the train, still derail it. At the same place, I used the brown streak only because I could start from the station and it would derail. The other one would instead derail much later. I tried even backing all the way back to the gym with the freight train, and then going full force, and it would still derail way too late. So if anyone wants to try this with freight, you have to back up quite a bit in Los Santos. And after the spot I usually derail, there are just not enough curves and free open space because you can't derail inside of a tunnel. There aren't really any alternatives. If you don't derail there, you're kind of screwed. However, as I was saying later on, I thought of a new strategy. the adrenaline cheat code. Either a no sunglass or take a chill pill. Both work identically as far as I'm aware. Here I'm showing the way I was thinking of going. However, I did not at the time realize that I was doing it way too fast. So I will be doing that separately later. But I thought that this would give me better reaction times. You know, the problem with this without the adrenaline G code was that it would just slip even on the slightest of slopes way too quickly. You wouldn't really be able to keep up with it, the balance, the speed, whatever. So I thought that adrenaline slowing everything down would make me able to react to these times when the brown streak would lose balance, and I could maybe just barely get there. But I forgot how much this G code actually messes with the physics of the game, and I was able to push the train very easily, even up slopes that I don't think would have been possible without it. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how much easier this made it. However, as you can see by the footage, this method is incredibly slow, and it took, as I said earlier, it took me hours. A single attempt of getting the train from the Los Santos train station to the base of Mount Chiliad took me about 45 minutes. That was before I even got to the hard part. So the longer stretches of footage are, if maybe I'll try to remember correctly, sextuple times, sped up sextuple times, aka 16 times, just so this video is under 40 minutes long. You know, I wanted to keep a lot of the footage intact just to show you that I actually did it, and so you would experience part of the pain I did, even a minuscule fraction of the pain I did doing this for hours on end. So if you have a problem with the video being long or the background noise, tough luck. But yeah, this took so incredibly long, and at least I got to experience slow-mo talking, whether it was pedestrians on the street or sometimes my girlfriend's calling me, even though I had a date with this stupid poop pun name train. But they'll have to wait.
Come on. White and green, first two.
Don't be a bastard.
It's a Zara.
I'm on a mission, right? I'm coming home as soon as I can.
I hope that clip was sufficient in showing you just how incredibly slow this entire stupid, boring, tedious process was. And the worst part about it, I think, apart from having to push this stupid fucking train up a mountain for hours on end, is that the slow motion made all of the failures so much more painful, since I had to look at them for so much longer. I could see every detail, every frame of everything that I did wrong, and I just had to sit with it for so long. It was so demotivating, but every time I tried, I got a little closer. Helena won't be happy, who cares? I've got a date with Destiny. I got a date with GTA Failure, baby. I don't need Helena. And oh, the footage is slowing down. You know what that means? That means that a failure is coming up. I think on this one it was completely my bad because I just wasn't fully paying attention. I was getting so bored that I was looking at whatever was on my second screen. I'm shaking the camera, and I wasn't keeping balance properly. And just one mistake and it is falling off of Mount Chiliad completely. This is like 10 to 15 minutes of work gone. I was hoping that I would die there, to be honest, but I didn't. So, backup plan. I'll try an alternate route. You know, I'm gonna use this failure as a learning opportunity. Rejection is just redirection. So we take another path, I push it up this hill, and this is where I'll show my first of many paths that I recommend you not to take for very specific reasons. Here you can see the path that I was taking on this alternate attempt, and the X marks the spot where I think that it's borderline impossible to probably get this train past, because look here, footage load down. There is some stupid goddamn hole in this mountain here, right next to the track. I had no idea. I did not see it while pushing it, and I don't think you can get it past it because the bridge, so to say, here is so narrow, so tight, that I don't think you can angle the train properly without it falling off. Um, thank God I didn't get hit there. That would have been the end of CJ here. A failure worse than I could have imagined. Yeah, I got angry, so I threw some bombs, but adrenaline mode made me kind of miss my opportunity. I forgot to. I wanted to blow myself up while jumping, but I forgot to equip the detonator, so this was a failure in multiple fashions. Just real terrible. This is where I started experimenting with different ways to get to Mount Chiliad, to maybe get a faster time, you know, save some time in that hour trek from Los Santos to Mount Chiliad. But it turns out that it's not a very good idea to try pushing this train up various mountains, because although the adrenaline helps with the physics, it does not completely override them. And I had a lot of trouble trying to get various methods to work, and I ended up just sticking with the road you saw me take in the first attempt, which is unfortunately a lot of zigzagging, not very direct. But now you can see me trying to push this up here repeatedly. The footage is slowing down, so you know something terrible is going to happen. And look at this footage. Look how terribly slowly this is happening. I mean, this is just... Why did I do this? Now it's running me over as well. This is painful. I'm so sorry, CJ. I did not mean to do all of this to you. Don't tell me that's gonna happen. CJ's getting ran over twice by a derailed train. I mean, this is embarrassing. I'm really sorry, CJ, that you had to do this in public, but it's all for science. You know, you have been doing a lot of stuff to others for science. Now you're just gonna have to suffer the same fate, you know. This is surprisingly not me getting angry, actually. This is me seeing if any sort of hitting or explosions or projectiles would move the train, you know, like do short bursts of fast movement to try to change up my strats, but it did not work. Now this is the second attempt of trying to get an alternate route going that might be more direct and faster. Now over here you can see that I tried to skirt past any sort of inclines entirely and go the low route next to the river. However, as you can tell by the slow-mo and the X on the map that I drew, very professionally I might add, this is not gonna go well, because just as I was afraid, this is gonna slide down very, very slowly, directly into the river to the left of me. And I tried desperately to get it out of the river somehow. Um, but it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. I knew that it would not work, but I did not want another 30 minutes of my time wasted on an attempt so foolish. So I tried regardless. The indomitable nature of the human spirit will never ever cease. Even mine, even CJ's. Um, I don't know why I don't know why I thought explosive would do anything. They clearly didn't when I was trying to get him up the other mountain, but I guess I was just desperate, as I said previously. Now over here you can see that despite the failing to take this route the last time, I got it at a slightly different angle and I was actually able to get it up to these train tracks. It was a lot of hard work, absolutely not worth it, but it seemed like progress at the time, because getting it up here I could just push it along the train tracks very easy, no traffic in front of me, which I did eventually learn to avoid pretty easily, but it was really annoying at first having all of these pedestrian cars in my way, and I didn't feel like using the cheat to make them despawn just because I wanted to do this with as few cheats as possible. I didn't even use speed cheats, but partially because I didn't know if that would mess with the physics effects of adrenaline. But I also didn't wanna use too many cheats just off principle. But yeah, I got it all the way here, and I could not get it up this mountain. It took me so long trying to push it up this mountain. I did so many attempts, mostly because I got really close every time. So there was a part of me that thought that this was doable. I just needed to find the little trick, find the method, get the right angle, right trajectory. But it just wasn't happening. You could see it being incredibly dark now because I've been pushing this train around for so long. And I think at any moment now it is about to go slow mode. Yes, which by now everyone should know what this means. We are looking at yet another failure in incredible speeds. Trying to catch up to the train, do anything to not have it go all the way down. You can see the disappointment every time I fail. I stop, I pause the game, I throw explosives around. Yep, I pause the game. This is another route. No, this is not another route that I chose to take. This is the route that I failed at first because I wasn't paying attention. And I actually got past the part that we were looking at already. It was at the very beginning of this clip. Because I was paying attention this time, could you imagine? So I thought maybe this time I could get it to the top of Mount Chiliad in this most direct way, I believe. Yes, there is a lot of zigzagging, but at least I don't go around the entire mountain trying to get it up this path. So that was my thinking, you know. I wanted to avoid the long road as much as I possibly could for as long as I possibly could. But unfortunately, as you are about to see any second now, that's not gonna work. Over here, actually, my pinky was getting so tired and hurt from holding the sprint button the entire time that I paused, took a break, ate some ice cream, came back, and less than 5 minutes after my return from my break, it just wasn't happening. I think the road here is again too narrow for the brown streak to keep its balance. So I don't think this here is possible, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe someone else could do it, but I just don't think it's worth the risk personally, considering how long it takes to get over here and how much progress you lose with just a single mistake. I mean, look at this. This is this is like half an hour of progress lost because of a single narrow road. This is absolutely tragic. It is still falling, and I think it's gonna fall all the way down into the water there, and I won't be able to retrieve it. And in typical me fashion, I blow myself up in a very theatric, dramatic way. Also, getting the jetpack off can be so annoying, but this is where you can now on screen see the route that I took and succeeded with. If anyone wants to recreate this for whatever reason, I'll get into that later. What you see on screen is what I think you should be doing to save as much of your sanity as possible. Yes, it is literally the longest possible route you can take to get up Mount Chiliad. However, it is also the safest, so I think it is 100% worth it. But why am I showing you this route? Well, I think that even though I got the brown streak to the top here, we should be able to demonstrate the freight train coming up here as well. We should get it up here just out of principle and do the test drive, so to speak, with it as well out of principle, just so we can add it, or I can add it to the list of vehicle tests on Google Sheets, excuse me. But after 4 or 5 hours of pushing this train up a mountain at laughable speeds, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm sorry. At least not now. Maybe, you know, if no one is willing to do it, I might just come back someday. But as of right now, I have a personal vendetta against this stupid shit joke train car over here that I insisted on pushing to the top of this mountain for no real reason at all. As you can tell, I'm a little ticked off in this video, but please do not judge me off of this too harshly, because this is like finding a GTA failure off of his GTA 3 ambulance video, paramedic video, or his Checkpoint Charlie video, you know. This is not representative of my everyday being. This is just one of those times where I say, fuck this fucking mission. Fuck this fucking mission. Fuck this fucking challenge that I imposed on myself arbitrarily. But maybe GTA Failure is up for it. Maybe GTA Failure can get the freight train to the top of Mount Chiliad. Using my methods, hopefully saving time and getting it up there in less than 5 hours, you know. And then he can push it down, we can measure the time, and we can add it to the list of vehicles tested. Because this is important scientific research. I mean, it is the most objective possible metric you can have for measuring the quality of every vehicle in GTA games. Is GTA Failures stunt? You know, they don't call him GTA Stunter for nothing. They don't call him GTA used car salesman. They don't call him GTA Failure. They don't call him. I don't remember if there are any other alternatives to his names. They don't call him GTA Succeeder.
I just assumed that these people did not react to just
But the footage is slowing down,
walking in and dying.
and look at the minimap.
Okay, I can now talk
I'm
to
up here.
Sam Haley.
I am finally up at the top of Mount Chiliad
To be the loyal worker.
after all the blood,
Oh, it
all
says
the
you
sweat,
agreed
all
now.
the tears,
Okay.
all the pounds of fat and muscle I lost pushing this train up a mountain while sprinting for days on end. This was terrible for Carl's physique, ironically, considering he's pushing an entire train
I'm
up
assuming they made the muffins
a
before they died.
tall mountain. But somehow this is bad for his physique, okay?
The muffins were already
But Yeah, look, I mean, look how slow this is. I'm sorry, I know I'm harping on this point, but look how slow this is. I did this for hours. Okay, I'm gonna stop mentioning it now. That was the last bit. I'm gonna stop mentioning it now. But we're up here. I'm gonna bask in my glory for a little bit. I could speed this up, but I won't, because I did this. I GTA succeeded in this challenge. So here we are. I'm gonna be, mostly positioning it for getting it down the mountain from now on, but we are at the top of Mount Chiliad, officially. I got on this bike to get rid of the adrenaline effect. Thank God I didn't start the race. I completely forgot about that, and I would have been beyond pissed. But then I realized that getting off the bike added the adrenaline effect back. Then I tried the camper here, and now even while driving I had the adrenaline effect, which surprised me. I thought that it would completely remove the adrenaline effect if I got into a vehicle, because I haven't really used this cheat code much. I don't have experience with it. I tried, activating, deactivating, getting in and out of cars. As you can see, I tried everything, but the adrenaline mode remained, unfortunately. So I think the strategy here is getting up here. Okay, once again it's gone. I don't know exactly how this works. I just don't know. But yeah, I'm lining it up here to start our journey down. Maybe the best method would be to get in the car, have the adrenaline mode turned off in car, in the vehicle, and then shove it down the mountain in the car while adrenaline is off to get the best time. Because over here, as you can see, it's in slow-mo. I don't know exactly how much adrenaline slows the game down. I'm gonna have to check, but I'm gonna have to factor that into the time of the train getting down to the water for the Google Sheet. I was thinking about redoing this with the method I just described, but as I talked about previously, I just could not be asked. So maybe GTA Failure will have the patience to do this properly without messing up the timing, also without staying so far behind with the jetpack that you can't actually see when the train landed in the water, rendering this entire experiment completely useless. This is why I'm not GTA Stunter. This is why I'm not used car salesman GTA Failure. It's just this is why I'm the detective. That's all I'll say. Big respects to GTA Failure for his hard work on his experiments. Maybe GTA Failure will do this properly. Maybe GTA Failure will do the freight train properly. I can only hope. I extend the invitation to him. The ball is in your court now, or I guess you could say the train is in your station now. But if you don't want to do this, I completely understand. Trust me. So, I'll see what you have to say, and based on that, I'll see what I'm thinking of doing. But this has been a journey. It's finally done. The brown streak was at the top of Mount Chiliad and then got pushed down into the water. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you have any thoughts on this, share them down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at some point, I guess, when I comment on one of his videos or something.